Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope that your weekend was super restful and that journaling about who you are, if you had time to do that, opened up some possibilities for you and got you in touch with some of the things that make you want to make theater or make you want to tell stories and create art. I'm looking forward to this next week of exploration with you. So let's start, as we always do, with our opening breaths. I'd invite you to get into a comfortable position, maybe scooting your bottom back a little bit in the chair. If you are sitting down, get yourself into an open posture if you're sitting or standing. If you're lying down, getting yourself into a place maybe with your palms up or your palms turned down onto the place where you're lying. If it's comfortable and safe for you, you can close your eyes with me. If not, keep them open with a soft gaze. Just start as usual with noticing the breath as it comes into your body. Knowing that oxygen is flowing in and filling our lungs and then into our bloodstream with some of the nutrients that we need to stay alive. And that as we exhale, we have transformed that oxygen into carbon dioxide. And if you're like me and you have some trees outside of your window, it might be fun to think about the ways that that carbon dioxide is finding its way to them, and that they are regenerating the oxygen that we need. And that as the trees breathe and we breathe together, that's how our relationship with other living things works. Trees are also amazing because their roots are connected to each other underground, and they can send messages to each other and send nutrients to each other when they know that a neighboring tree needs something that it's not getting enough of. And as we transition into this second week of moving from self-work into moving into working with partners, may we tap into the things that we have that others might need, and the things that others have that we might need, and may we learn to build a relationship with each other that is energizing for both of us. That's my wish for a creative process. Take a few more breaths on your own. Remembering, as always, that whatever energy you're bringing into the space, whatever kind of day you've had so far, you are welcome to bring that here if it's helpful, and you are welcome to leave it at the door if that will serve your learning and your development today. Give yourself a hug at the end of this opening meditation. It can be isolating to have to play by ourselves on a Zoom screen or on a YouTube screen, not being able to connect. So sometimes we have to give ourselves the love and the physical touch that we're not getting from others right now. And when you're ready, you can float your eyes open if they've been closed, or just return your focus more intentionally to the screen. And we will get started. Thank you. Okay, so as a reminder, as I was mentioning before, we're moving from our first week where we were mostly focusing on working with ourselves and what we bring to a creative space as theater makers. And now in week 2, we're moving into working with others. And this is going to help us get in touch with the kinds of characters and stories we want to tell, and then it's going to help us get in touch with whatever we choose to make in our last week. I don't have anyone to play with, and I can't see you, so this is going to be an interesting challenge this week, figuring out how to work with others even when we can't be in the same space. But after our warm-up, I'm going to give you kind of a core principle that we can use to guide this work, and I'll do some things with you, imagining that you're on the other end of the screen, and we'll invite you to join with me, and then also teach you some things that you can do with your friends or with your family when you are not on the screen, okay? So let's get started with our warm-up. First, just giving yourself a light shake all around. And we're going to do that shake out that we did. Give yourself a little bit of a roll in your hips, in your shoulders, in your neck. We're going to do that shake out that we did, in our very first session, but we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to do 8, and after we do right hand, right foot, left foot, we're going to do 8 of a full body shake, and then we're going to go down to 6 full body shake, 4 full body shake, 2, and 1. And after our one count full body shake, then again, we'll take some kind of pose. And I heard someone describe this weekend in a way that I really liked. She said, to find a shape is just to find stillness. And it's not a shape you have to have thought about beforehand. And you don't have to be super attached to it. You don't have to like the shape that you're in. But it's just finding your way into some kind of stillness. And you can just continue to shape that space around you as we were doing toward the end of last time. So we'll play with just finding a couple of shapes before we move on into the rest of our warm-up. Okay? So let's get started with our shakeout. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Full body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Shape. And another shape. Finding stillness. A new shape. Finding the new stillness. Another shape. Stretching into a new place. And one more shape. Finding stillness. Cool. Let that go. Let's do our reaching up to pick apples, really feeling a line all the way up from the bottom of our spine, reaching all the way up through the crown of our head, and then flop over. Let yourself hang as loose and as heavy as you can, like a marionette on a set of strings. Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. Yes. No. And slowly roll up. Stacking vertebrae by vertebrae. Head and neck being the last thing to roll up. Turn to one side like a balloon on a stick. Shoulders are back and down. I'm going to move this so you can see a little bit better. One more time, reaching up. Feeling that line all the way through our spine to the top of our heads. And flop over. Really let yourself swing this time. And see how much you can let yourself really be falling toward the ground. So that if someone were to push you, you might actually fall over. That shows that we're letting go. We're moving toward letting go of pulling ourselves up, and we're just leaning into gravity to pull us down. And slowly roll up, stacking vertebrae by vertebrae. Step together, chest open. And I want you to imagine there is a string. I'm going to move my thing again. I want you to imagine there is a string pulling up from the top of your head, stretching your torso out. Again, not like this, you're not overdoing it, but you're just letting your spine be long. If you're like me, you probably spend a lot of time hunching, especially when we're all sitting at our computers or sitting on our phones, we hunch. And when we're like this, that means that our energy that we're sending to others is also going to be small and contained. We want to burst that energy out. So imagining that string is pulling up from the top of your head, nice and long and open. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. Let's do some breathing. Remembering what we did last time, we breathed in and I had my hands here so I could feel and see my diaphragm expanding. And at the top of the breath, so breathing in, we went straight to a hiss. And remember that as I'm hissing and air is coming out, my impulse is going to be for everything to tighten. I'm going to tighten here, I'm going to tighten here, my body's going to contract. And me doing this, using my hands to model being open and expansive, is going to encourage my body to stay open as long as it can until I let go of the hiss. Okay? Let's try that again. Breathing in. Good. Try. Ready? Breathing in. Again, breathing in. One more time, breathing in. Good. Try. Ha! 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 Try. Hey! 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 See how that's pushing out? Try that one more time. And this time try. Hey you! Try that. Hey you! Hey you over there! Try that. Hey you over there! Good. Shake that out. Now we're going to do a call and response vocal warm-up. So I'm going to just make some sounds that I haven't pre-planned. I'm going to try to just feel what my voice wants to do or what my body wants to do to make sound. And then I'll invite you to repeat it back to me. And even though I can't see you doing that, I'm going to feel your energy doing it, and then I'll do the next one and invite you to repeat it back. Here we go. Woo! You? Awesome. You? Oh. You? Good. You? Awesome. And one more. You try it. Awesome. Amazing. Give yourselves a round of applause. Excellent. So sorry that I can't repeat yours back to you, but if you want to send me some things to repeat, I will be happy to do it. Cool. I'm going to teach you a new tongue twister today. This one is a song, and you'll see what the tongue twister is in the middle. Okay? It goes like this. Sarah, Sarah, sitting in a Chevrolet. Sarah, Sarah, sitting in a Chevrolet. Here's the tongue twister. All day long she sits and shifts, shifts and sits and sits and shifts. Sarah, Sarah, sitting in a Chevrolet. Hey! and with a big hey that comes from your diaphragm at the end. Okay? Try that one with me. Ready? Here we go. Sarah, Sarah, sitting in a Chevrolet. Sarah, Sarah, sitting in a Chevrolet. All day long she sits and shifts, shifts and sits and sits and shifts. Sarah, Sarah, sitting in a Chevrolet. Hey! Awesome. So notice that in order to say sits and shifts rather than the swear word that comes in the middle of those two words, I'm using as much of my muscles in my articulators here in this part of my mouth as I can. So remember the first day when we put some gum in our mouth and started chewing, and then we put the whole pack in our mouth and started to chew with every muscle in our face we could. All of that is getting our articulators warmed up so that we can do our tongue twisters and speak with courage and conviction. So let's do make your energy really, really big. Make your body as big as you possibly can, sending all of your energy, your whole heart and body and spirit out into the world. And then make it really, really small, as tiny as you possibly can, getting your entire heart and body and spirit into a tiny little ball. Good. Bring it back out, sending everything out into the world as big as you possibly can. I'm going to stretch to get even bigger than I was before. And I'm going to make sure that my eyes are open too, because I was scrunching my face. And then really quickly get back into a small, tiny little ball, as tiny as you can. Awesome. Shake it out. What's next? Let's see where we are on our time right now. Cool. So let's just do one more round of that body scan that we did last time. So I'll invite you to take a wide stance with your feet stacked under your knees and those stacked a little under your hips. So not really tight. You can't see my, let me scoot my screen. Not a really tight stance and not like a super wide stance, but just a hips width stance. And have our hands out like this. In yoga, this is called Tadasana, mountain pose. It's a pose that can help us really feel open to all the energy that the universe has to offer and feel open to the support that we're getting from the ground under our feet. And we're going to start our body scan by directing our attention to our feet. And I'll remind you to work on keeping your eyes open and your face open to this whole experience rather than going inward and closing your eyes to imagine. See if you can imagine and feel the sensations on your feet with your eyes open. So from here, I'll invite you to really feel each and every toe on your foot as it is making contact with the floor beneath you. See if you can scan back along the arch of your foot and feel if there's space between the arch of your foot and the floor, or if your arches are flatter, see if you can feel the contact that that part of your foot is making with the floor. Scan back to your heels, see if you can identify as many points of contact as you can with your heels and the floor. And then roll up in your awareness to your ankles, seeing if you can feel the way that your ankles jet out into the space around you a little bit. If you're wearing long pants, starting to see if you can feel as you move from your ankles up into your shins and your calf muscles. See if you can feel your those parts of your body interacting with the pants that you're wearing and then out into the space next to you. If, like me, you're wearing shorts, can you feel your shins and your calf muscles and the space right around you? And can you feel that, like we were doing last time, as an active space, a space around you that can be shaped and interacted with as we play? Move on up into your knees. Again, see if you can feel your knees jutting out from your body like we were with our ankles. And up into our quads and our thighs up here. Can you feel your quads and your thighs inside the pants or the shorts that you're wearing? and then out into the active space around you. Moving up into hips, feeling all around the hips, not literally with our hands, but feeling with our awareness all around the hips, inside our shorts. If you have a belt on, see if you can feel where that belt is pulling in, and move up into our torso. Scanning with our awareness all around our torso, feeling it inside our shirt or our tank top, or inside no shirt if you don't have a shirt on right now, and then feeling out into the space, moving up into our chest area, feeling that colliding with the fabric against you if you're wearing a shirt, and then feeling the space, scanning our awareness into our arms, feeling our muscles, whether we've been working out recently or not, feeling the parts that are muscle, that are different from just flesh and bone. Scanning down through our elbows, again, feeling our elbows jutting out into the space in a particular way, moving down into our wrists, into each of our fingers on our hands, and then scanning our awareness up to our neck, up around the head area, seeing if we can feel our ears jutting out into the space, if we can feel our nose coming out into the space, feeling all the space around our head that we can interact with as we play. Good. And take one more moment to just notice if there's parts of your body that are feeling tense or tight, and see if you can just send a relaxing breath there, encouraging those places in your body to open up a little, to be receptive, to be ready. And then you can shake that out. So, starting today, we've already been doing this, but starting today I want to introduce you to a concept that is going to be really, really helpful as we start playing and working with other people, and then developing characters and stories and creating pieces. And the idea is this: yes and. So when we're improvising, when we're making something up on the spot and we don't know what's going to happen next, this is the most helpful thing. This and the skill of listening to what's just been said right before you, those two things, I promise, if you really trust them with every fiber of your being, they will carry you like a boat through the most uncertain waters. Even if you feel totally like, I can't imagine how this scene could make any sense, if you just say yes and, you will find your way there. So what this might look like is, for instance, if you said to me, hey Ben, let's throw a party, I might say yes, and let's make sure that there are lots of people at the party that know how to make guacamole, because that's my favorite food at a party. And then you might say yes, and let's make sure that we've gotten the balloons that we need to make balloon animals at the party. And I might say yes, and let's make sure that there are robots at the party that will help to make the balloon animals, because it just sounds more fun to me than hiring a balloon person. So in that little interaction, I pretended to be you and I was also me. I didn't know any of those things were going to come out of my mouth. I just did my best to listen to what had just been said before, to say yes, and then I added to it. And I did my best to trust my ability to just talk without knowing where I was going. And I'll say, I definitely had moments where I was judging, right? I had moments where I started saying something and I had a little voice in my head saying, that's stupid. That's not going to be a good thing at the party. Or like, ugh, why can't you be more original and come up with something better than that? But that doesn't matter. That's not what's important here. What is important here is the ability to listen to what someone else has to offer, to accept it, and then to add on to it by saying yes and, okay? So one of the ways you can think about this is literally, if someone hands you a gift, we can either say, oh, thank you for this gift. I'm so glad this gift has brought so much new energy to my life and I can't wait to play with it. That's going to make our partner that just gave us that gift feel really good. They gave us something and it was valuable to us. But there's two traps that we often fall into when we're improvising that can make our partner feel kind of bad and can sort of break the trust between us. And the traps are to say no and yes, but. So I made these in green and red because I want you to think about a traffic light. If you're driving or you're in someone's car who's driving and you're sitting there at the traffic light, when the red light is on, that means stop, right? And when the green light is on, go ahead. When we're in a scene, in a conversation, in an interaction with a partner that we're making something with, when we say yes and, we're giving them permission and we're giving ourselves permission to keep going. When we say no, I mean, literally, if someone gave you a gift and you were like, ugh, no, I don't like that gift, that's going to stop the person in their tracks. And what they're going to do is they're going to think, ooh, I gave this person this gift because I thought they would like it, but they didn't like it. I must have done something wrong. And they're going to go into their head. They're going to get out of their body, get back into their head, and they're going to get really anxious. And they're not going to be able to send you as clear messages as if you had been able to say, yes, thank you, and. And similarly, when we say yes, but... ... we pause ourselves because what we end up doing is we start making an argument happen between two people where each person is trying to win over the other. So someone might say, let's have a party. And I say, yes, but I mean, I'm not sure if it should be a party. Maybe it's just going to be a get together. And then the other person says, yes, but I mean, I really wanted it to be a party because that's what I want to be doing right now because I'm really sad that we can't have them because of COVID. And I would say, yes, but it's really important to make sure that we're not having, more than 5 people. Suddenly we're just having an argument that the audience is not going to be particularly interested in listening to. And we're just trying to win over each other rather than trying to win together. So that's how you win in improv, is by listening and being in conversation with your partner and trusting each other. And yes and helps us do that. And when we do improv exercises and games, sometimes we will literally say yes and, like we did when we were just planning that party a couple of minutes ago. But it also is just an attitude that we can bring into these games where we're willing to take whatever someone gives us, accept it, thank them for it, and then add something of our own to it. And that's how we build a scene. So, eye contact matters. Keeping your eye contact with your partner, listening really, really openly to what your partner has said, and then trusting. Sometimes what we do when we're not trusting ourselves and we're not trusting our partner is we go inward and we start looking inside for answers. That's not where the answer lies. The answer lies in your scene partner and in the connection between you. So keeping your eyes, and even as we do this through a YouTube screen, keeping your eyes on me and me keeping my eyes on you will help us to play these partner games. So let's do 2 partner games. The first one is going to be a mirror exercise. Okay? So the first one is going to be, I'm going to reset this so you can see me a little better. I'm going to keep my eye contact with you as much as I possibly can. And I'm going to start making some movements. And I'm just going to encourage you to make those movements along with me. I'm not sure where I'm going next, and neither are you. So all you're doing is just focusing your attention on what my body is doing and trying to do the same thing with your body. And we're keeping as much eye contact as we can so that you don't have to be looking at all of the things that are going on in my whole body, but you can keep focus with the part of me, my face, that is sending you the signals that you need to stay connected. And I'm trying not to go too fast because I don't want you to be overwhelmed trying to follow me. I want us to be able to be in sync, to be in conversation with each other. Good. Keep going. Keep following me. Keep your eyes in contact with mine. Awesome. Thank you for playing with me. So one of the things that I'll invite you to do after this session, if you want, you can make a mirror exercise for me to do with you. So just the same way that I just did, you can film yourself trying to keep eye contact with an imaginary me through the screen, just making some movements, whatever comes to you in the moment, not trying to judge it, not trying to plan it, but just letting it be, and I will do my best to move with you, okay? So that's one of the things you can do. The next exercise that we'll do is going to sound really simple, but I promise you that there's something there. So first we're just going to say the alphabet to each other. I'll say one letter, and then I'll wait for you to say the next letter, and then we'll keep going until we get to the end of the alphabet, okay? A, C, E, G, I, K, M, O, Q, S, U, W, Y. Awesome. Excellent, excellent. So in that, all we were doing, right, was just listening and keeping as much eye contact as we could. Because you're not actually here, I had to try to listen to what you would say inside my mind, but we did our best to get all the way through the alphabet, and we did, so good work. Now, we're going to try the same thing. We're just going to move through the alphabet, but we're going to move through each letter of the alphabet with sadness. These letters of the alphabet just make us so sad. And this is an opportunity to practice yes and, because I'm going to give you a kind of sad with my first letter, and then you can give me a different kind of sad back, because there's like a million different ways that we could be sad. So as we do this and we're continuing to listen to each other, just continue to explore what it feels like in your body and in your face and in your heart and mind to be sad, okay? A, C, E, G, I, K, M, O, Q, S, U, W, Y. Excellent. Shake it off. Notice how it felt to be sad about the letters of the alphabet. Where did you feel that in your body? What was it like to inhabit sadness together? And this time, we're going to do the letters. We are so angry. And we're not angry at each other, but we are super angry at these letters of the alphabet. In the same way, I want you to experiment with all the different kinds of angry that you can be. A, C, E, G, I, K, M, O, Q, S, U, W, Y. Awesome. Shake that out. So I would ask you to reflect, take a moment. We just had an experience together, but now take a moment to look at that experience and think, what was it like to embody sadness? What was it like to embody anger? And what was it like to try to explore as many different types or dimensions of sadness and anger while we still listened to each other? There were moments for me where I was forgetting to listen because I got caught up in trying to do my emotional acting thing. And then I had to remember to take a breath, and that the most important thing was keeping my connection with you. I also had moments where I could hear my roommate out there maybe making something on the stove or maybe cleaning up some of the dishes. And I had some judgment that came in of like, oh my God, what is my roommate going to think of me like sitting here talking to a screen, getting angry and feeling sad? And that can be something that tightens up our energy as artists too, is to imagine someone else judging, even if my roommate doesn't actually care. So just take a moment to really notice, did one of those feel more comfortable to you? Was one of them more uncomfortable? What other kinds of sadness or anger did you not find yet? And just notice how that feels to have played sadness, to have played anger. Those are the things that can become the building blocks of character. Take a breath. Shake it out. Good. I'm going to leave you with one more game that you can play with other people. And this game is called What Are You Doing? And the way that it works is like this. I'm going to start by doing something and miming it and pretending to do it. And you're going to ask me, what are you doing? And I'm going to say something that I'm not doing. So I'm really pretending to brush my teeth. But I'm going to say, I am rocking a baby. And then you're going to start rocking a baby. That's your action now, is to pretend to rock a baby. And I'm going to say, hey, what are you doing? And you're going to tell me something you're not doing. So you might say, I am stomping bugs out on the floor. And I'm going to start stomping bugs out on the floor. I actually really have had some bugs in my room recently, so this is very familiar. And you're going to ask, what are you doing? And I'm going to say, I am having a party. And you're going to start to have a party. And then I'll say, hey, what are you doing? And you might say, and so on and so on, okay? So the game is to pretend to do something, and your partner asks you, what are you doing? And without thinking too hard about it, just saying yes and to whatever impulse comes up, you tell your partner something that you are not pretending to do, and then they take on that action, and you ask them what they're doing, okay? So that's a game that can, again, remember, the answer, and it's hard, I do this all the time too, but the answer is not in your head. The answer is in the connection between you and the person you're playing with. So I'm going to put these in the comments, but you can send me a mirror exercise. You can try playing What Are You Doing with a friend or a family member. And if anything came up in playing anger and sadness and how those sit in your body, you can let me know as well. But now we're going to return to doing our closing breaths. So I'm going to sit back down. Would welcome you to sit down if that is how you're doing your breaths, or lie down. Take a moment to open up your body. We just played, we just exercised, we did some work. Close your eyes if it's comfortable. If it's not, you can keep your eyes open, but with a soft gaze. And we'll close with our 4 breaths. Breathing in. No, sorry, excuse me. I forgot how to do these. Shake it out. Whoa. Okay. A breath for the ancestors that each of us brings to this space, and for the indigenous people that were here before colonization. Breathing in and out. A breath to thank ourselves for our practice today. Breathing in and out. A breath to thank others for their support. Breathing in and out. And a breath for the intentions and well-being of everyone in our virtual Theatremaker community, everyone at Providence After School Alliance, and everyone in your circle of loved ones. Breathing in and out. The loving and creative human in me celebrates the loving and creative human in you. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you again later this week. Be well.